How can you validate your product concept? Today we're talking about conducting interviews with your target users. What's up, softwarepreneurs? Welcome to this video on conducting user research. For those of you who are new, my name is Dale Richards. I'm a software product innovator from Salt Lake City, Utah, and I love making software that changes the world. I'm creating a SaaS product from concept to cash, and I'm taking you along with me for the ride. If you want to make cool apps, build your SaaS business, and make money doing cool software entrepreneur-related stuff, start now by subscribing and hitting the bell. So today I'm calling my friend Becky McIntyre to validate some of the points on my business model canvas. This friend of mine is the wife of a dentist in Virginia, where I used to live. So I'm going to ask her some questions, not about, hey, would you do this? Would you like this? I'm going to keep the conversation out of the hypothetical and ground it in what they currently do to staff their dental practice with office help and dental assistant help.
Hello.
Becky McIntyre, it's Dale Richards. How are you?
Thank you. So good to hear your voice.
Oh, it's good to hear yours too. How have you guys been?
We're good. Yeah.
Good.
Keeping up a big family on Facebook, seeing the kids grow and
Oh,
adventure.
Thank you. It is an adventure. We are in the throes of parenting. That's true. So let me ask you a couple questions. I'm interested in understanding what your experience is like staffing your practice. I know that sometimes you have office people or you have dental assistants that leave. You probably have to backfill those positions. Can you tell me what that's like? How often does it happen? And what do you normally do to find office staff?
Well, unfortunately, it's a never-ending, like having that circular door or whatever. You're always hiring because people move, they change jobs, they have children. There's all sorts of different reasons that people come and go. The ones you're, most concerned keeping, of course, are your doctors and your hygienists because they're the providers. But after many, many years of hiring and training many different assistants, it's been 7 years ago, we started a dental assisting school at our office. And so it's a school that meets on Saturdays from 8 to 5. And in the morning, it's kind of the classroom, book part of dentistry. And then they have lunch, and in the afternoon, they're upstairs in the treatment rooms, and it's hands-on practice experience. And it's a 12-week course, and that has been the best thing we've done to find great people to hire, because we spent 12 weeks with them. It's kind of like a 12-week working interview because I have my own assistants teaching the class. I have one assistant that teaches in the morning, another one that does the clinical in the afternoon, and then one of my hygienists grades the homework. And so they get a really good feel of the different students. They, are seeing, are they on time? Do they come prepared to class? How do they do academically? How do they interact with their classmates? How quickly do they pick up new skills? How much of a perfectionist are they about, an impression or whatever it is they're doing? And so we've got 12 weeks of observing them, and then we hire the cream of the crop. And so at this point, all but one of my assistants are graduates of the school, and two of my front desk admin team are graduates of the school.
So this school that you're running, this program that you're running, is for just the dental assistant side, not the office management side, right?
It's for dental assistants that, like I said, I've got two in my front office that are also graduates of the school. And so the nice thing about that is that they have a good basic understanding of clinical dentistry. And your front team needs to know a lot about clinical dentistry because they're always getting questions on the phone or for patients when they're checking out. And so it's very helpful to have someone at the front. And of course, all of them eventually learn some. But yeah, two of my let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Two of my 5 are graduates of our school.
How do you find people to sign up for this school?
So we do ads in the newspaper and Facebook ads, and it's a small class. It's usually somewhere between 5 and 8 students, and we keep it small so we can give them a lot of personal attention, and that's usually about the interest level anyway. I don't have a big enough marketing budget to go bigger. I've checked with Blue Ridge Community College about adding it to one of their courses because they do like medical assisting and things like that. But when I talked to the person over the workforce division, she loved the idea. And her department head loved the idea, and they took it to the president of the college, and he said no because Massanutten Vo-Tech has a dental assisting program, and they didn't want to be in competition with them. So.
Do you ever hire from Massanutten Tech?
Nope.
Why?
Because they're not as well trained.
Huh.
I've had students take from both. They did Massanutten years ago, and then they came, and did our school. And they tell me in the first day we do more than what they did the first 4 months at Vo-Tech.
Huh.
It's an intense, accelerated course, and it's in a real dental office. They're in a classroom where they have a fake chair, and that's pretty much it. Here's the real deal. So you're working on real equipment and real sterilization, and so it's a very realistic, and with that working assistance. So when I was in hygiene school, I quickly learned that when I was in clinical, the instructors that I wanted checking me were the ones that were working in the real world. They were just adjunct faculty, and they would, be there for clinical sessions. Those were the ones I wanted to be checking me because they were real. They could tell me, well, yeah, the textbook says this, but if you turn your hand this way and come at it this way, you'll get, a better angle, or you won't be as tired in your shoulders, or whatever it was. I mean, they were just real. Whereas we had the, what would you call, the professional teachers that, at some point had gone through hygiene school, but they hadn't been in real practice for decades. And so, they weren't real. And so kind of the same thing here. We've got real assistants that are, this is what they do every day, teaching it. And so it's just a more hands-on, realistic thing. But anyway, that has been the best thing that I've done to find good staff, good team members.
What happens to the graduates that you decide not to hire?
Well, obviously, they're going to go to some other office. And I write a reference letter for all the graduates that kind of talks about how they did in class and what they covered and so forth. And I now have doctors calling and saying, do you have any graduates that you'd recommend? Or I got an application from one of your graduates. What did you think of this person?
Do the students have to pay to enroll in your program?
Oh, yeah. We charge $2,900.
Can we go back to your own hiring of these people then? So when was the last time you filled a vacancy in your practice with one of your graduates?
So we interviewed 2 of them yesterday, and we'll have them in for a working interview over the next couple days. And so hopefully by next week we'll have hired one of them.
2? Okay, so you interviewed 2 people for the same vacancy or for 2 different vacancies?
Same vacancy, but both of them just graduated from our winter class.
How often do you have a vacancy?
I would say about every 6 months, every 6 to 8 months.
A single vacancy?
It seems like something.
Okay.
Yeah.
How about your office staff? How often do they turn over? Or when was the last time you had a vacancy in the front?
You have to let me have Amy long enough to hire and train her replacement so that we're not stuck, So that did happen. It took us about 2 months to get the new person hired and trained. And so she finished up about the second week in March.
And did the new person go through your school also?
No, that person actually has been in dentistry for about 20 years and has done actually insurance and kind of the financial before. But we still spent 2 weeks training her on our office. So she was not from the school.
Right, okay.
So the ones that I have at the front that are from the school, my doctor scheduler and my hygiene scheduler are the 2 that are from the school.
Have you ever heard of a platform called OnDiem? It's spelled ONDIEM.
No.
Are you aware of any other platforms or places that you or your peers might go to find office help or dental assistant help other than your school? It sounds like you haven't had a lot of success finding other sources of good staff. That's why you created this program in the first place.
Right. Yeah, so when we were looking for someone for Amy's replacement, ideally it would have been someone with, some skills. That's just a really much more difficult post to learn, the insurance world, and you throw Medicare on top of it. But and then our Stanton office actually needed the same position, and the person down there was retiring at the same time. And so, you do your normal like Craigslist, and I called the newspapers for ads. And so both newspapers in Stanton and Harrisonburg, when you put an ad in their paper, they throw it out online to a whole bunch of places. And I don't even know where all it went to. Dale, that it was supposed to go to all sorts of hiring type sites. And so I don't know what all they send it to, but that's actually how Erica, the person that we ended up hiring, how she found us.
So she found you in response to that ad?
Mm-hmm, right.
What did you do, if anything, to kind of pre-qualify her before she came in for an interview?
So we are working with another company out of Dallas called, the acronym is TOPS. It stands for Total Patient Service. They have a little, it's probably about a maybe 30-question survey. It's just kind of a personality survey. And over their experience of working, in the business for about 25 years, strictly dental, they have kind of created profiles for different posts in the office. And so we have the applicants take this kind of personality test. It's not as involved as like DISC or something like that, but it's just kind of a shorter version.
Okay.
And so, for instance, for the financial manager, you want someone, if you're looking at DISC, you want someone that's more of a D personality, someone that's more of a self-driven, can control things, can confront, that type of personality. And so the survey that we did, it just kind of gave us an idea of how they, rated on those types of traits.
Okay. And so basically you got the application from, I think you said her name was Erica.
Uh-huh.
And then you had her, and you said, yeah, please take this assessment. And you sent her the assessment, and then she took it, and then she sent it to you. Is that right?
Right.
And then you looked at it.
So then,
and then what happened?
Then we invited her in, of course, for the interview, and then we invited her back for a working interview. And then I have a couple of my team members take our applicants out to lunch, because they will talk at lunch about things they won't talk about with me. And so it's always a good way to get a little more information about them.
How many applicants did you have besides Erica?
Well, we had, when we narrowed it down, I think we were serious about 3 or 4 of them.
Oh, how many applicants were there in total?
Probably about 20.
And then how much time did you...
Some of them had absolutely no experience, I mean, they were just, there was nothing on their resume that was even close to, making it worth the interview at that point.
On a scale of 1 to 10, where 10 is like, on the pain scale, if 10 is like excruciating pain and 1 is like no pain, how painful is it? Mm-hmm. How painful is the problem of trying to screen applicants for you?
I would say that a 3. It's not that bad.
Okay, all right.
But it's been a long journey to get to that point.
Have you ever solicited an employee from another practice to come to your practice, like someone who already had a job?
Yeah, so Amy did. She came from another practice. Erica, who we just hired to replace Amy, came from another dental office. The financial person I put in Stanton came from another dental office.
So we talked a little bit about how you can get a lemon candidate. You have someone who's unreliable, they have a poor work ethic, they're untrainable, there's a turnover cost, and you're saying that another thing that's important to you is the personality of that individual. And you said that the process of advertising, screening, and setting up appointments was really about like a level 3 pain point?
Yeah. I mean, we no longer get too excited. I mean, it's like, okay, here we go again, but whereas it used to be just like, oh my gosh, we're going to do this again.
So it used to
get it done.
It used to be painful, but now it's not because you got your program set up.
Right.
Okay. Are there certain individual skills, like you talked about billing Medicaid, but are there certain niche skills that you're looking for in candidates near you? What would those be?
Well, again, it somewhat depends on the different posts. So, for instance, our new patient coordinator, the person that's in that spot, her name is Jody, and I call her Miss Southern Hospitality because her voice and her personality that comes, most of her interaction is on the phone when someone's calling in. She can literally draw a person in over the phone. She's just amazing at it. And so she's in the perfect post for her. The doctor scheduler has got to be able to, look at 9 columns and figure out what's going on across the board and, keep it all straight. So there's specific skill sets that are specific to different things, and not everyone can do all the jobs. And so part of it is also making sure that the person is in the right spot. We had a person at the front desk that was failing miserably, and I was ready to fire her. And we had an opening come up in the clinical, and it was like, well, let's give her a try back there. She was amazing clinically. She was horrible admin. So, and part of it is, making sure that they're in the right place. And then part of our philosophy is if someone is failing or, floundering in their post, also make sure that, the training is sufficient. In other words, that they just haven't been properly trained on how to do something, because I don't want to ever see that, it's the person if the training hasn't been there. We've got to make sure that we've backed it up with the proper training before making a decision.
Do you ever, I guess you kind of allow yourself to try before you buy by having the students enroll in your program. That's kind of how you try them out to see if they'll be good in the first place. Is that fair to say?
That has worked beautifully.
Okay.
Whenever I go to a meeting and people are moaning and groaning about finding good people to hire, I say, hey, here's how you do it. Not very many people are willing to put in the work to do it, though.
Where are you going to these meetings where people are moaning and groaning about finding the right people to hire?
So there's a couple different practice management groups that we work with. So TOPS, every quarter they have a leadership academy in Dallas, and so there's probably 150 people there that are, and they usually do small, real round table discussion groups, kind of like mastermind groups. And one of the exercises they do every time is that you'll be at a table and everyone gets to share their pearl. What's the one thing that, has made a difference in their practice? And I'll often share, the assisting school. And then you trade tables and you get with a different group and, you go through that about 6 times so that you have a chance to sit with everybody. And so I've shared that several times there. And I'm just amazed that, people say, well, I'm not going to do that. That's too much work. And it's like, well, then stop complaining about not finding good people.
Okay, we're going to pause the interview with Becky right there because she starts to get into referrals and we talk about who else we can talk to, and which is great, but we're going to review that in a separate video. So some key takeaways. Screening for personality is really important to dental office managers. They want to make sure that these candidates are a good fit for their practice culture. Another thing that's interesting about Becky's practice is that their hiring problem was so bad that they decided they were going to solve it by creating their own dental assistant training program. So some questions that I have in my mind. The importance of making sure the person is the right fit is so great that are we ever really going to be able to totally reduce the screening time or the screening effort? I don't think so. So the question is, to what extent can we actually reduce the time to find and screen applicants for a vacancy in a dental practice? I don't know the answer to that question yet. Okay, this is one interview. We're definitely going to interview more than one dental office manager. We're going to interview lots, and we probably won't show you all of the interviews because you'll probably get bored. But don't worry, if there's like some major breakthrough, you'll know. Coming up next, how do you get more interviews by asking for referrals? Join us again. Videos are published every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 12 noon Mountain Time.